In this segment, I'm going to talk about what information is in a candle and a little bit about how you can leverage that as a supply and demand trader. Okay, so I have my TradeStation charts set up here, and I have a 5-minute, a 15-minute, and a 60-minute. And what I did is I put lines so you can see from 8 to 9 on each chart what candles occurred in that time frame. And one of the things that you have to consider when you look at the candles is if you're looking at a smaller time frame, you're actually getting a lot more information about what is occurring with price action. You know, when you look here, you can just see that between these two candles, price went up. You get a little more information about the upward move of price in the 15-minute, but you can actually see here that that price did retrace and then take back off. And so these are some things you need to consider about how much information you might be losing if you're looking at a higher time frame chart. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about what a candle tells us. And I'm just going to zoom in right here. And if I look at this candle right here, I know that price opened here and then went higher. It's a green candle and it closed here. Sometime during the 5 minutes of this creation of this candle, price went up, found some supply, and then came back down to the close. Also, sometime during this candle creation, price went down, found some demand, and then ultimately came back up and closed higher. If we look at the flip side of that, a red candle, which is showing some downward movement, it opened here and closed lower, and at some point during that 5 minutes, price came up, found some supply, and then continued back down. And it actually at some point came down much lower, found some demand, and recovered a little higher. So when we think about candles and what is occurring with price action as a supply and demand trader, one of the things that we want to think about is what is going on with price action. And if I look here and I'm looking for an area of demand, of course I can already see price came back to this area, but you know, I've got a base right here. I've got a leg in, I've got a 2-candle base and a leg out, and you can see very quickly price retraced back to here, and it is continuing. It's come back a couple times and it's just kind of meandering away. So not a real strong move. But so one of the things that we want to think about is when we're looking at areas of supply and demand, you know, thinking about, you know, this, one of the things that people consider is the strength of the leg in candle. How strong is that leg in? How strong is the leg out? And then in the case of a demand zone, people usually like to see a green leg in candle and a green leg out candle. And on their leg out, they don't like to see that it wicks past the bottom of their base. So these are some of the things that as you think about a candle and the information that's in a candle, and you're a supply and demand trader and you're looking for areas of supply and demand, these are some things you should consider. And hopefully this will help you as you start to look at your charts and look for those opportunities to get into trades. So I'm going to remove this now. And we've actually created an app for TradeStation, which helps you find areas of supply and demand. And I will go ahead and turn that on here. and you can see what that looks like. But what it's doing is it helps you find supply and demand by looking at the ATR of the prior 14 candles. And so when you're looking at that, if you want a good strong, you can, we have a default setting for the strength of the leg in and the leg out candles, and then the zones are drawn on the charts accordingly. And the tool also shows you for like this demand band right here, it shows you that it's 50.94% penetrated. Down here it shows it's 0 penetrated. It tells you the time of the leg out candle, and it will also tell you what the price of the proximal and distal is for that band, whether it's demand or supply band. And you will see these boxes here. These are bear and bull boxes, and they're meant to help you see what's going on in big picture trend. And let me just blow this up and see if I can't get you a little better visual about what's going on with price action here. So you can see that at some point price came up into this supply band and has continued lower. And so, you know, depending on how much of the picture you look at as to whether you would say that we were in an uptrend or a downtrend, that's going to a lot depend on your personal trading style. But you can definitely see what we were retracing here. So that's kind of what the tool helps you do. And it's quite, I have it loaded on these as well. So you can look and see what the bands look like and the trend in different time frames to help you just facilitate your trade plan and what you want to use to determine whether or not you get into and out of a trade. So hopefully this gives you some good information, and just green trading.